Speaker Shauna Lake, Brian Malahy to my left here. We continue our coverage. The death tonight, if you're just tuning in, the death tonight of President Gordon B. Hinckley, prophet, president of the LDS Church, dying tonight at the age of 97, around 7 p.m. tonight.
He died in his apartment. He was surrounded by close family members. We want to go to Dan Rascone tonight. He is live at the Joseph Smith Memorial Building. And Dan, what can you tell us tonight?
Well, Mark and Shauna, as you mentioned, boy, just a quiet and very sad and somber day here on Temple Square as they remember this great man, President Gordon B. Hinckley, the 15th president of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, dying this afternoon or this evening at 7 o'clock with his family by his side just a couple blocks away here where his apartment is located. This really came as a big shock to a lot of people, even the members of the press secretary or even the press secretary here of the church, saying that President Hinckley was going strong up until the last couple days. He did get a little ill, but he was not taken to the hospital. He didn't show any signs of some serious illness, but suddenly he passes away to the shock of many here at 7 o'clock.
Our purpose in inviting you here this morning is to announce that a new president of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, Gordon Bittner Hinckley, was ordained and set apart in the Salt Lake Temple yesterday, Sunday, March 12, 1995.
A historic day for the LDS Church as Gordon B. Hinckley is introduced to the public and media as the church's new president, taking over as prophet, seer, and revelator for a church with over 9 million members at the time.
One cannot come to this sacred office without almost overwhelming feelings of inadequacy. I know of his heart and I know of his soul. I know of his commitment. I know of his faith. I know of his capacity.
I believe that we're poised on the edge of a great new movement of spirituality and expansion of the work of the Lord under his leadership.
President Hinckley was born June 23, 1910 in Salt Lake City. His first job was as a newspaper carrier for the Deseret News. He later earned a Bachelor of Arts degree from the University of Utah and then accepted a call to serve as a missionary for 2 years in Great Britain, where he got off to a rough start.
And he writes a letter home to his father and basically says, "This is a waste of time. I might as well be home and not wasting what little money that you have." And his father sends him back this postcard that basically says, "Gordon, I've received your last letter. I have just one thing to say to you. Forget yourself and get to work."
And that's exactly what Gordon did. He went to work.
And I have heard him say today that everything good, now think about that, everything good that has come to him has come because of what happened to him on his mission.
Following his mission, Hinckley had planned to become a journalist. Instead, he took a job for the church in the mid-1930s to organize what has become the church's public affairs department. That was the beginning of a lifelong service with the church.
It is so great a privilege and so serious a responsibility to speak from this pulpit that I earnestly seek the inspiration of the Holy Spirit.
On October 5, 1961, he was called as an apostle for the LDS Church.
It is proposed that we sustain Gordon Bittner Hinckley as prophet, seer, and revelator and president of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Then 34 years later, at 84 years old, as president of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And since becoming president, Hinckley has traveled to more places than any other LDS president. Even into his 90s, he was still going strong, energized by his love for people across the world.
I would walk barefoot on hot coals for President Hinckley, but I imagine 11 million other members of the church would as well.
And Hinckley dedicated and built more temples than any other LDS leader.
All right. Tonight, a rare live interview with Gordon B. Hinckley.
And no other church president has become more open to the media, going face-to-face with some of the toughest journalists.
Spend some time, as we did, with the people who run the Mormon Church.
Not afraid to answer the sensitive questions.
Blacks could not become priests in the Mormon Church, right?
That's correct.
Why?
Because the leaders of the church at that time interpreted that doctrine.
I think it has taken tremendous courage, and and maybe has taken a toll on him. He makes it look effortless, and I doubt it is.
A number of people asked what the secret is to your staying so vigorous. I have to say it's on several of these cards.
And when it came to humor and wit, President Hinckley was one of the best.
The idea is that I try to follow is to go to bed every night and be sure you get up in the morning.
But despite all his travels, all his accomplishments, and all his assignments, his love for his wife and family always remained a priority.
We have what I think is a great family, and once a month we get together, everybody who's in the city, for a family home evening, where we have good times and talk about our affairs and our problems and whatever.
A man of integrity, a man of faith, a man of commitment, who traveled the world inspiring, uplifting, and teaching the gospel of Jesus Christ. A man never to be forgotten by millions across the world. The 15th President of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, Gordon Bittner Hinckley.
He is filled with faith. He absolutely believes that if he does his part, the Lord will take care of the rest.
I'm not worried about what people will say about me now or in the future after I've gone, as long as I do what is expected of me.
The 15th President of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, Gordon B. Hinckley, dead at the age of 97 years old, passing away 7 o'clock tonight at his apartment there with his family by his side. Now, President Hinckley, of course, had two counselors, a first and second counselor. That made up the first presidency. His second counselor, James Fallece, passed away just a short time ago, and a new counselor was called. So an occasion like this, when something happens like this, of course, they all go back to basically the apostleship in the church. So President Thomas S. Monson is the president of the Quorum of the 12 Apostles. He will be likely called as a new president of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Now, of course, President Hinckley, known for his traveling around the world, this is what his press secretary had to say just a short time ago.
He loved being among the people, and he made every possible effort to be there, and has flown and traveled probably more than any other president of the church, of all 15 of them. And often he would stop off just at a little branch someplace and get off the plane and go meet them at the chapel or meet them at the airport, so that he could extend his love and wishes to them and encourage them to live the gospel of Jesus Christ and to be the kind of people they ought to be. That was always one of his great messages. In terms of his legacy, I think you have to say that the temples, the small temples he's built, they're really not small temples, they're medium-sized temples. But so many people across the world in our church have access to these blessings of eternal families and marriages that last into eternity, because they can go to the temples where this kind of worship and these kind of ordinances are performed. Perpetual Education Fund would be another example of his caring about the people. He watched missionaries come home, saw that many of these people served so well, and yet they came home and they didn't have jobs, they had no way to get education. He found a way for that to happen, so that was a renewable fund that they paid back as they got in the circumstance where they could. So it's been remarkable to see what this man has accomplished during his administration.
A very remarkable individual that has accomplished much, as has been mentioned here. The other thing, too, is the press secretary even said that they were pretty surprised about this. Again, as we mentioned before, President Hinckley has really not shown any signs of serious illness over the last little while. He was not hospitalized or anything like that. Many of the prophets of old or presidents of the church of old have been in the hospital for some time or have been ill and have been in bed for some time and not been able to function fully as a president of the church, meaning coming to the conferences and other things like that. And so we really didn't see any signs from President Hinckley in regards to this, but suddenly he passed away at 7 o'clock here tonight. And that's it here from Temple Square. Mark, back to you.
All right, Dan, thank you.
All right, Dan Rascone at Temple Square. Thank you very much, Dan. Doctrine governing